Never a good sign when the controller box is sitting on the deck. Let me show you what I've been dealing with. So I got the mic right here, just for now, because I want you to hear what I was hearing. So I was running a small job, or it's starting to, and I noticed this motor had a yellow LED, which means it's at full amperage, which is fine. But the problem is these two motors, drivers, run the motors on the y-axis, so they're both should be doing the same amount of work. And I saw that full amperage when I was just jogging back and forth. So I went ahead and jostled one of these wires, and this stepper driver basically went dead. And I've been having that problem with especially these two drives just stopping in the middle of a job. I may have seen X and Z do that. Not sure. But let me fire this up and see if I can show you what I was seeing. Get this up here. Alright, so we got green LED, that's good. Now let's do this. Hear that pop? We'll do it again. Those motors are probably kind of loud, those fans. You hear that? That's bad. That red LED means we've got a fault, by the way. So, let me get this mic out of the way and be right back. So hopefully you heard that crackling and popping. So originally I was thinking, let me take this off, that I had a cracked board, which is why I got the cover off. And these pins are very tight. So I started doing some experimenting. Now these connectors go on both ways. If you put it on this way, which is why I did it originally, you can probably see how it fits right in there very well. It's got these little feet that sit on the board. These right there. Anyway, but they can go on this way as well. So we'll put it on like that. Kind of bumps into the capacitor, but it'll work for this test. So we'll power it back on. There's our green light. And now I can't get it to do it, no matter what I do. It's easy to replicate the other way. So, I've been around electronics for a long time. I've never seen a connector do that. So that begs the question. I can't really... So I think what we'll do is we'll put this motor on these connectors and see if it does the same thing. Oh, that's interesting. That's coming out as one piece now. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so that's on. Yeah, nothing. Which makes me wonder why this one was failing on me before. Alright, so I I guess to confirm that, we'll have to move this one over to there. Take this apart. Now you see how this is coming off in one piece? That's because there is a connector. I think these are the wrong way around now that I look at it. I think they go like that. Yeah, it does. See how there's no wedge here to insert into this wedge? Whereas if I went this way, now that's one piece. Alright, anyway, can I get this connector over there? Alright, let me take that drive out. Okay, can you see the green? There's a green light there. There it goes, just went red. I don't know if you can see that. Alright. Well, the good news is there's nothing wrong with this motor driver. That's good. So I think technically it shouldn't matter that these are not tied together like these ones are. I guess I could swap the wires around and put this connector over here so they properly bind together. None of that makes any sense to me. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if I can give you a close-up of what's going on here. So they were originally this way. You see how there's no connection that way. If you do it this way, you can take that little wedge right there, stick it into that slot, and now they're actually it's all three of them. Oh, look at that. See how that wedge is damaged? It can't really fit. Okay. There you go. That's a little better. Although I can't imagine how any of this matters, but let's find out. So I'll put this back. And by the way, the reason I can't install them like this is because I don't want these cables torquing on those pins. And just not a good idea. So I did mean to mention earlier that I did remove and tighten up these two wires before. That was the first thing I did when I noticed it was crackling and popping. All right, let's try this. Okay, and green. I don't get that at all. Yeah, okay. If anybody has a comment on what they just saw, I'd love to hear it. That is odd behavior. All right, let's turn this off. Get the other one back on. And for the record, if you notice the red hands and the sniffling, the average temperature down here this time of year is about 50 degrees. And that is not Celsius. All right, let's try this. So we got a green light. Yeah, nothing. Alright. Might as well do these ones. Yeah. Alright. Well, I didn't really have a plan when I turned on the camera, but I was not expecting to do that. So my only guess is the reason this was going over amperage is because these two cables here are the power supply, the 48 volts, I believe, DC. So if this had a very weak connection, then the amperage would go up. So let's put it all back together, get it mounted back on the CNC, and see if we can jog back and forth and cause a over amperage. Alright, we got the controller reinstalled. So now I'm going to jog the y-axis back and forth, and this is the one that was going over amperage. Let's see what happens. That was me hitting the E-stop. Not sure why I kept moving, but we did not over amperage. Let's go ahead and reset that. Alright, so that's just my controller, my remote controller acting up. It's basically a game controller connected to Mach 3. So, let me use the keyboard. Alright, the board is green. Okay, here's the controller I was talking about. It's not a perfect solution. It does act up, hence that's why we have e-stop buttons. So I gotta be honest, I don't know what we just saw there. That was a very odd problem, but I guess it's time to get back to work. Thanks for watching.